Đây là câu trả lời của luật sư của Tổng thống Trump tố cáo cái phiên tòa cũng như là công tố viên ở phiên tòa ở New York là bịt miệng và độc tài. Đây là bắt đầu cuộc họp báo để có trả lời. Sau đó thì luật sư của phía bên kia cũng trả lời lại cho
I'm not here
của bên Michael Cohen.
to hear what he has to say. That was what rang true, loud, and could not have been more honest, coming from the judge who has already predetermined that my client committed fraud before we even walked into this courtroom. I'm not here to hear what he has to say. Then why exactly am I being
Đến đây quan tòa này là ông quan tòa ông đã kết án Tổng thống Trump khi mà khách hàng của bà có tội trước khi bà đi vô phiên tòa rồi.
Because Miss James wants to stand right here like she did this morning and call my client
trưởng lý của New York cũng họp báo ở đây buổi sáng.
And make a name for herself. She said this morning that the numbers don't lie and they won't lie in this case. Well, Miss James, I have a message for you. The numbers didn't lie when you ran for governor, and that's why you dropped out. And the numbers don't lie when President Trump runs for office in 2024. And those numbers are loud and clear. This country is falling apart.
Tổng trưởng lý bà nói là cái số nó không có sai. Thì bà này đã trả lời lại rằng cái số nó sai là tại vì bà tổng trưởng lý James sao bà là tranh cử thống đốc là bà bị thua rồi đó. Bà phải rút lui và tổng thống tiếp tục tranh cử 2024.
In this country to get up and put a defense. I don't care who you are. You have a right to hire a lawyer who can put objections on the record. You have a right to hire a lawyer who can stand up and say something when they see something wrong. But I was told to sit down today. I was yelled at, and I've had a judge who is unhinged, slamming the table. Let me be very clear, I don't tolerate that in my life. I'm not going to tolerate it here. And you know what? You shouldn't either. Because not every American citizen gets a camera and a microphone. And what I'm seeing is such a demise of American judicial system and democracy. Miss James came out this morning and said that she knew Mr. Trump, and she always calls him Mr. Trump because it kills her that he was the president. But the 45th president of this country, one of the best presidents we've had, has built a great company. It's worth a ton more than that statement of financial condition. And she doesn't know how to get out of it because her politics won't allow her. She calls him a bully. She says he's going to bring out racial slurs. He's going to say things today and taunt her. Well, Miss James, you taunted him. Before you came into office, before you saw one record, one statement of financial condition, you taunted him. You said his administration was too male and too pale. Those are her words. She said that she and Michael Cohen were going to be his biggest nightmare. Well, I have some news for you, Miss James. Michael Cohen folded, lied, and crumbled. Your star witness, along with all the DAs and corrupt AGs, need to be paying attention to what happens when you let us take the stand. When you let my client speak the truth, and the judge can tell me to sit down, and he can try and shorten my client's testimony, but it is loud and clear. They've got nothing. They've got nothing but their politics. She's got nothing but her Soros backing, which we discovered recently. And I am sick and tired of seeing it. Pay attention, America. Pay attention. Because when you're in court one of these days, and you don't have a lawyer that has a microphone, and you don't have a lawyer that can go on TV, and you've got judges gagging them, what are you going to do? We need to fix this country. And we need to stop what is happening in this courtroom. President Trump is worth a lot more, and she wasn't ready for it. She doesn't understand it. And before she rushed to judgment, She should have thought about attacking somebody with over 50 years of real estate expertise who changed single-handedly the skyline of New York City. She picked the wrong person, and her politics will fail for it.
Are you concerned by the judge's statement that President Trump's longer answers that he draws negative inferences?
So let's be clear about why the judge said that. The judge doesn't like when President Trump explains what actually happened because it's not good for his narrative. This is a judge who clearly has an issue. If you've seen his behavior with me, you've seen his behavior with the president today. He has a clear issue with facts that are not good for the case because he already predetermined, and I want everyone to understand, this is, yes, we do not have a jury. Yes, we do not have a lot of things that we should because they brought it under Section 6312. But this judge decided this case and liability before we walked up those stairs. I didn't have a shot.
Cái quyết định là ông Pờ đã có trước khi mà đi lên cái bậc cấp cấp này rồi.
They want are facts that are bad for Trump. That's why he's silencing him. That's why he's telling him short answers, and that's why he's clearly enraged. His face is red. He came in hot, and he doesn't know how to handle him.
Knowing the judge is the one who will decide the penalties, have you urged your client, President?
Ông Tòa ông không có đủ khả năng, ông mất bình tĩnh, mặt đỏ lên, không biết, thành ra ông đàn áp Tổng thống Trump luôn. Tổng thống Trump mà đang nói chuyện, ông cắt lại Tổng thống Trump là ngắn lại, ông không cho nói, cũng như bà luật sư này nói chuyện, ông không cho bà này nói và ông không có cho cái microphone để nói luôn, nói bằng cái miệng không. Và sẽ là sáng án lên cái tòa trên. Cái phiên tòa này dẹp bỏ không có giá trị đó.
The fifth was done in an EUO, which is a special proceeding. Once they brought the case, we decided it was better to fight the facts. But frankly, I never thought that she would bring the case because once you see what his actual values are, you see that there's no there. But you know, she gets a lot of attention for this.
Là rồi Tổng thống Trump phải bồi thường 250 triệu cho nữ ước về vấn đề mà tài chính kê khai những cái tài sản của ông ta hơn để mượn tiền có lợi. Cái lời khoảng 100 triệu đô la thì bây giờ phạt lên là 250 triệu đô la.
Would not be the Attorney General but for President Trump. Let's be very clear about that. And that might hurt her a little bit, but that's the facts. The facts hurt. That's why she wasn't a good governor. She didn't make governor. She didn't even come close. She used this case as a cover. Numbers don't lie, Ms. James, to use her own words. Numbers don't lie. Anything else?
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Tòa thì ông muốn ra lệnh bịt miệng bà này luôn, nhưng mà bà cái vẫn nói. Tổng thống bịt miệng, ông muốn nói 2 lần phạt 15.000 này.
My name is Jeffrey Levine. I didn't expect to speak to anybody today, but I did just hear what Alina Habba said a few moments ago.
Đây là luật sư của Michael Cohen, phía bên kia, đứng về phía bà tổng trưởng lý.
Present in the courtroom, of course, during Michael Cohen's testimony. I was in court today during I'll call him Defendant Trump. Defendant Trump's testimony. It was a circus this morning, and I just have to say briefly, Alina Habba just said that nobody should be called a liar, but it was one of the first things that she did here. And she called my client a liar, that he lied when he testified last week and a half ago. He didn't lie. He has convictions in his past, but his testimony a week and a half ago was nothing but the truth, and the whole truth. I don't have anything else really to add other than, again, what happened today. She was asked to sit down. She should have sat down. Shouldn't have required the judge to say to sit down. Same with Mr. Kais, who makes the statements. It's inappropriate, and the judge doesn't stop telling them it's inappropriate, and they keep doing it anyway. So it is a small.
Ông không cho nói, biểu ngồi xuống, nhưng mà phía bà luật sư bên tổng thống Trump cứ tiếp tục làm, ông nói gì? Và bên bà luật sư bà nói là ông Michael Cohen là người nói láo, thì ông nói ông một tuần mấy giờ trước ông Cohen nói tất cả là sự thật cả.
Even though the judge keeps asking him to answer the questions, It's unfortunate that the cameras aren't in the courtroom. You all would have seen what was going on there. I don't think he folded at all. He was very forthright, and he explained why in the past he had made the statements he did to the criminal court judge, and he made his statements here. There was no folding at all. Actually, if you want me to get into it, I don't think you do. Sure, it's Jeffrey, Jeffrey, middle initial K, and last name Levine. I represent Mr. Cohen in this matter. I represented Mr. Cohen since he was unlawfully remanded back to Otisville. I was the lawyer present with him. And we represented a case now right here in the 2nd District after his case was dismissed against Donald Trump and Bill Barr and others for the unlawful remand back to Otisville. So we hope that the Second Circuit will reverse that determination. Any other questions? You know what?
I do want you to get into it. You said you don't want to get into it. I want you to get into it.
I'll get into it. Let me answer your question first. Am I going back in? You know what? My admission fee is used up for the circus for the day. So no, I've seen enough for the morning. I think it'll be the same. The only thing I think that could happen, either today or if the case continues till tomorrow with this witness, is if the lawyers keep going the way they're going to go, and in particular Chris Kise, and I don't know him personally, but I've seen the behavior. He's a Florida lawyer. He was admitted at the discretion of Judge Engoron. He could have that revoked if he persists, and he got that gag order last week when he was out of order. So that's something. I don't think money is going to make the difference for this judge. So no, I'm not going to go back. I've seen enough. As far as getting into it, so there was testimony with my client, and the defense showed testimony from the Senate Intelligence Committee, which had been declassified or was not originally open to the public and then became open. And the question was taken out of context. And so when Mr. Cohen answered the question, he answered it narrowly to that, and everybody ran out of the courtroom to make statements that he had folded or the case is over. And that's when Cliff Robert made his motion to dismiss. And that was denied. On redirect by the Attorney General's office, that statement, that narrow, out-of-context statement, was clarified. And it was basically, the question was something like, did Donald Trump or Alan Weisselberg direct you or tell you to do the financial statements? And the answer was to the Senate Intelligence Committee, something along the lines of, not that I recall, no. But then if you read the next few sentences in that testimony, the answer was right there. Donald Trump doesn't really just do that. He speaks in code, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't think Michael Cohen folded at all, actually. I think he honestly answered something, and he hadn't seen that transcript ever, but he knew the testimony somewhat from years earlier. So I think Michael did a fine job, and he did what he was supposed to do, and he testified truthfully under oath. Anything else? Great. Have a great lunch, everybody. Sorry to take. I didn't expect to be here to do this, but I couldn't not say something when she called him a person that lied under oath at this trial.
Thì cả hai bên luật sư cho bên Michael Cohen với Tổng thống Trump thì ra họp báo nói trả lời trong phiên tòa đó. Bữa nào cũng bên cho khách hàng của họ.